You know when you look at a company's financial report and it's just this wall of numbers? It can feel totally impossible to figure out what actually matters. But what if you could take all of that complexity and boil it down to a single, powerful number that tells you exactly where the business is headed? Well, that's what a key performance indicator, or KPI, is all about. And today, we're going to build one from scratch. I mean, think about a massive company like Mercedes Benz. Every single car sold, every van delivered, that's a data point. Multiply that across the entire globe, and you're not just swimming in data, you are drowning in it. So how on earth does a CEO know if they're actually on the right track? How do you find that one critical signal in all of that overwhelming noise? The answer is the KPI. Now, this formal definition is really important. A KPI isn't just any old metric you can track. No, it's a number that's been specifically chosen because it is laser-focused on a huge strategic goal. This is the tool that turns a spreadsheet full of information into a single piece of powerful insight. All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with some real-world data, then we'll build our KPI definition piece by piece. After that, we'll do the math, figure out who's responsible for the number, and finally, we'll put it all together to see our completed KPI. Okay, enough with the theory, let's get our hands dirty. We're going to dive into some real financial data to see how this whole process actually works out in the wild. And this is it, our raw material, a real revenue report from Mercedes Benz. Right now, it's just a table of numbers. We're talking billions of euros, different business units, different years. It's dense, it's kind of confusing, and our mission is to find the hidden story that's buried inside of it. So where do you even start with a table like that? You start with a clear definition. And honestly, this is the most important step of the entire process. If you get this wrong, everything that comes after it is basically useless. This is all about making sure everyone is speaking the same language. So let's build one together. Think of this as our blueprint. A really great KPI isn't just a number. It has all of these other components that give it meaning and context. We're going to fill this whole thing in step by step to turn a fuzzy goal into something really concrete and powerful. First up, the name. Now, this might sound super simple, but it is absolutely critical. A vague name will always lead to vague results. The name needs to be so specific that you know exactly what's being measured just by reading it. Ambiguity is the enemy here. So for our Mercedes Benz example, we're going to call our KPI year-over-year revenue growth by segment. See that? There's no guesswork. We know it's about revenue, we know the time frame is year over year, and we know the breakdown is by business segment. It's perfectly clear. Okay, now for the description. The golden rule here is simplicity. You should be able to explain this to a brand new intern, and they should get it instantly. No jargon, no complicated financial terms. Just a plain language explanation of what this number really means. This description just nails it. It spells out that we're measuring the percentage change for each business segment, and we're comparing it to the previous year. There is zero room for misinterpretation. Simple, clear, and super effective. Okay, we know what we're measuring. Now for the fun part, the math. Let's go ahead and dust off that Mercedes Benz report and actually calculate this thing. Here's the engine of our KPI. This formula for year-over-year growth is pretty standard stuff. You take the current year's revenue, you subtract last year's, and then you divide that result by last year's revenue. That's what gives you your growth rate as a percentage. So let's plug in the numbers for the Mercedes Benz Cars division. We take their 2022 revenue, subtract the 2021 revenue, and divide by that 2021 number. And what do we get? A very solid 15% growth rate. All of a sudden, that huge table of data has given us one single meaningful number. And this is why KPIs are so incredibly powerful. When you do that same calculation for the other segments and then throw them on a chart, the story is just impossible to miss. Cars and vans, doing great. But look at mobility. It actually shrank by 4%. Now that is an insight you can actually do something with. But a number on its own is just a fact. 15% growth. So what? To make it a true KPI, we need two more key ingredients, a person and a purpose. Who is responsible for this number, and what's the actual goal we're shooting for? So for responsibility, we'll assign the CFO and the segment sales managers. This is their number. They own it. And for the target, well, the report showed the entire Mercedes-Benz group grew by 12%. So setting a target of over 10% for each division feels ambitious, but it's definitely achievable.
Now it's not just a number, it's a target that people are actually accountable for.
All right, time for the finishing touches that really make this KPI part of the business routine. We'll align it to the bigger goal of financial performance, we'll agree to review it quarterly so it always stays relevant, and we'll decide that a bar chart is the clearest way to show it. These aren't just minor details, they're what makes the KPI a living, breathing part of the company's operations. So we've done it. We have gone from a confusing wall of numbers to a complete, elegant, and strategic tool. Let's take a look at the finished product. And would you look at that? Everything you could possibly need to know is right there on one page. What it is, how it's calculated, who's responsible for it, and what success actually looks like. This single document takes all the guesswork and all the ambiguity out of a major business goal. This is the definition of turning complexity into clarity. And that's the real magic here. This isn't just a document, it's an alignment tool. It guarantees that the sales team, the finance department, and the CEO are all looking at the exact same number, defining it the exact same way, and pulling in the exact same direction. And the beauty of this framework is that you can use it for anything: customer satisfaction, factory output, website traffic, you name it. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the single most important goal you're working on right now? And what would its KPI look like?